Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Tuesday. This is Game Day Live, coming to you live from the Primetime Radio studios in beautiful New Jersey, in the bunker, and Chicago, Illinois, and our favorite bar across the street from Prudential Center on 51 Edison Place, American Whiskey, as they are pre-gaming before the Devils take on the Calgary Flames. Second half of a back-to-back, although the Flames played last night in a losing fashion. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with Vinnie, Parise at pucksandpitchforks.com. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Happy Devils Tuesday to you, Vinnie.
Happy Devils Tuesday to you, Sam. I'm very excited for today's show. This is another outstanding matchup. It's a home and home for the Devils, but as you mentioned, those Flames, they had a game in between, which makes things interesting. They're on the second half of a back-to-back, coming off a loss in which they led the game 3-1, and they let the Islanders come all the way back and eventually allow them to win in overtime. It was an outstanding game, and the Islanders were able to get the better of the Flames. Hopefully the Devils are able to do the same. Hopefully the Devils being 2 days fresh, which it's been a while since they've been 2 days fresh, going up against somebody who is, coming on the second half of a back-to-back. I'm excited about it. This should be a good, fast, fun game for the New Jersey Devils if everything goes according to plan.
Well, you know what? Whoever was the NHL scheduler didn't take in the fact that the Calgary Flames played the New Jersey Devils Saturday night in Calgary. Then they had a crisscross across the continent between Canada and the United States, then played last night, and now have the 3 games in 4 days. The amount of travel, you've got to think that the Calgary Flames are a little bit tired, and I'm trying to cure the bad feeling of our good friend of the podcast, Steve Engel, in the YouTube Live, saying, cure my bad feeling about I have about tonight's game. Well, our good friend Steve Engel has bad feelings. Hopefully I cured it. The Calgary Flames has got to be gassed, and they're going to be gassed if the Devils come out really fast tonight.
I'm telling you right now, though, they've won 6 straight games, right? That is something that is going to end, right? Like, who wins 3 games in a row very often? The President's Trophy winner every year probably has a max of like a 5 or 6 game win streak. Every now and then you get that team that goes on a run of 10 in a row. I remember there was that one season that the Flyers won 10 in a row and lost 10 in a row in the same season. That happens sometimes. But like, do you ever recall Colorado or Tampa Bay last year rattling off like 12, 13 straight? No, that just doesn't really happen in hockey. It's such a hard sport where every team is good and every team has to have pretty much everything go their way in a game in order to win it, in addition to being like the superior skating team, the superior skill team. The Devils have been that in a lot of these games, and they've won a couple games that they didn't deserve to win. That game against Vancouver, they weren't very good in the first period, and they still managed to get out of the first with a lead against a weaker team. They held on for the win in the end, even though Vancouver looked like they were coming back. Colorado, evenly matched game. The Devils, the difference was the one power play goal by Jack Hughes. Other than that, it's a 0-0 5-on-5 contest. Hockey games, some of those close games could skew either way. Eventually, one of these close games is going to skew the opposite way for the Devils. The reason I'm optimistic about this game right now is you have a case of the hottest team in the NHL, no pun intended because of their opponent, playing against the coldest team in the NHL. I believe the Flames have lost 5 straight. So, something's going to give eventually, but this is a game that is definitely in New Jersey's favor. They're on home ice. Hughes and Hischier are rolling. They were able to beat them on the road when matchups weren't in their favor. Now they got them at home. The Flames are low right now. They're questioning everything about themselves. You heard Daryl Sutter say stuff about Huberdeau being a consistently good player all season long, implying that he hasn't been a consistently good player up to this point. there's just a lot that's working in New Jersey's favor tonight. If they bring their A game from the second the puck drops and keep it going to the end, I believe they will win the game.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, Calgary had an overhaul. Now, I wouldn't say overhaul, but they had some big changes on their offseason. A little bit of identity change. Gaudreau and Kachuk both out. Huberdeau and what's that defenseman? Starts with the W. It's,
Uyghur.
Yeah, Uyghur. Yeah. Calgary's still a pretty good team, but sometimes it takes time to gel. Look, the Devils started 0-2. They figured it out. And that's 9-1 since that Ducks game where they figured it out. And I think there's something to be said about it. Somebody that needs to figure it out tonight and moving forward is Damon Severson. Getting benched. He admitted it. That's the first step. Even Lindy Ruff and the coaching staff said he had, just had a bad night. And that's accountability right there. And I know celluloid therapy was talking about accountability, that Ruff doesn't hold players accountable. Look, he benched Jesper Bratt last season. He even benched Ty Smith. Don't you remember that, celluloid therapy? About 2 games, Ty Smith was riding the pine in the press box, taking a different look and angle from the sky view, and then he came back and he actually scored a couple goals, but it was short-lived.
Colorado.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Lindy Ruff holds players accountable, but this time around, he's got horses to actually hold them accountable with. So if you go down, Fabian Zetterlund, you're in the lineup. You've got a whole pipeline of young talent right now that you can actually tap into. And then the ones that are on the bubble, like Kevin Ball, Alexander Holtz, you better practice your butt off. And once that opportunity comes, you're in. And I like that approach. I know Scotty on Game Day Live is wanting to get Holtz some playing time. Other than that, either that or send him down. But at the same time, it shouldn't be handed to him either. You want him to fight for it. Maybe he is fighting for it. Maybe he is that good. But they don't want him to just think like he is the next one on the New Jersey Devils. That he's got to claw his way. He's got to back check. He's got to play well defensively. He's got to keep up. He's got to be relentless. That's the best that you can get out of Alexander Holtz. And he's just not there yet. Not saying he can't be. It's just one of those things where rookies have to really do something special to get in the lineup. And that's what Dawson Mercer did last season. And notice he doesn't have a sophomore slump right now, Vinny. He's actually completely opposite. He's improved quite a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a large reason for that is because, like you said, he made an impact early. He saw what was needed in order to stay in the lineup and be in the lineup and produce. And if you don't put in that type of effort, you're not going to do anything. So I like that with Holton. You brought up holding players accountable. Lindy Ruff has done that so far. I'm not a Lindy Ruff apologist, and I'm not someone who wants Lindy Ruff's head on a stake either. I'm very neutral on Lindy Ruff. So far, it's been a great season for him and his team. I did always acknowledge that a lot of Lindy Ruff's struggles as a head coach was a direct result of injuries and a poor roster and all that. So, this season we're really going to be able to evaluate him in full and see where it goes going forward. I do think there's extra pressure with a head coaching candidate like Andrew Brunette breathing down his shoulder. I think that breeds competition for everybody and helps everybody involved. You see in Toronto, Sheldon Keefe benched Mitch Marner for a shift for making a bad play. You bench Mitch Marner for a shift? If you're going to bench Mitch Marner, bench Mitch Marner. He's one of the best offensive players in the league. But if you're going to try and send a message, you don't really send a message by benching someone for one shift. And I will argue that Jesper Bratt has been a significantly more productive player than Mitch Marner so far this year. I'm not saying Bratt's better than Marner. He might not be. He might be. We'll see as time progresses. So far, history says Marner's a little bit better just because of more consistently and whatnot, but they're about equally as impactful to their teams right now. Jesper Bratt had a 16-minute game. We all remember that debacle, okay, with Ryan. And it's crazy to me that there are teams like the Leafs who refuse to hold players accountable sometimes, but here we are with the Devils. We're seeing Holtz not play. Okay, his speed and his everything isn't up to par according to the team. He's not in the lineup. Zetterlund is. One was drafted significantly higher than the other in, different drafts. Kevin Ball, he will be in the lineup eventually, I assume, but, he's got to earn his way in. If he's not making an impression with the team, he's not in the lineup. And, one thing I did want to shout out is a little bit of breaking news that is going on with the Calgary Flames right now that will impact tonight's game huge. First of all, Markstrom is going to be in net for Calgary, which is kind of big. That's the third game in 4 nights for him. The other big thing is Jonathan Huberdeau is out. He will be dealing with an injury during this game. This is a big loss. And even though Huberdeau hasn't been the Florida Panthers Huberdeau with his new team quite yet, he makes everybody better on the power play because he's still one of the best passers in the NHL, regardless of if the puck is going in the net right now or not. He impacts a power play. He makes it harder to execute whatever your power play plan is whenever the opposition takes a penalty. So I'm not encouraging the Devils to go out there and take a bunch of penalties because Huberdeau's not there. But even at 5-on-5, I think that impacts their lineup tremendously. Their best playmaker is now out of the lineup, and we'll see how that, changes the game today. But, even everyone's upset like Markstrom starting. It's the second half of a back-to-back. We thought we would get Vladar. Listen, Vladar is also awesome. So either way, you're facing a great goaltender for the Calgary Flames. You're getting Markstrom. He was a Vezina Trophy candidate last year. Do you think the Devils are good or not? If you think the Devils are good, it should not matter who's in net. They can beat Ilya Sorokin as they did. Or did they face New York Islanders backup? I don't remember. You're going to have to beat Shesterkin. Okay, if you want to advance in the playoffs, you're going to have to beat Vasilevsky.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how hockey works. You can't be upset when Markstrom starts or anything like that. This is a Western Conference team that's supposed to be a Western Conference power. I believe by the end of the year, they will be. They're in a slump right now. We've seen how that happens to the elite teams sometimes, especially ones that have turnover the way Calgary has. It's going to take a while for them to truly figure it out. I wouldn't want to play them in the postseason. If they sneak in as a wild card team or a third in the division, I don't want to play them. That's a team with experience that was in the conference or in the second round last year and played a great series against the Edmonton Oilers. They are good. And so the Devils got their one win against them. Hopefully they're able to take advantage of Huberdeau being out. Go out there and make a statement. Go win another game against a very good, a very talented team, and a very angry and motivated team. Take advantage of their tired legs in the third period, I would assume. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and also Tom Fitzgerald was on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio earlier today saying that, Devils fans expect greatness, and they were running out of patience. But Lindy Ruff has now got this team on the right track. I think everybody deserves credit. Tom Fitzgerald's Plan B has been working just perfectly. Speaking of Plan B, speaking of in goal, Vitek Vanacek, this is his time. He's going to get the playing time right now. He's going to be the number one goaltender as Mackenzie Blackwood recovers from his sprained MCL. I'm assuming he's the starting goaltender tonight because I haven't looked at it. I just want to assume correct. He is. So right now, Vanacek, who I think so far has a little feistiness in him. You see him not taking anybody's crap. And it's kind of a little bit, you can kind of tell that defensively, his defensemen are there to help him out. And if Vanacek can see the puck, he's going to save it almost each and every time. And I think right now, the Devils, if you look at the stats right now, they are out shooting their opponents. They're probably number one in the league right now, aren't they? By far. Out shooting their opponents, the puck possession, they're swarming. There were concerns. I know Scotty had at times that they're out hit. But really, I think right now, with the beef that they have on defense and the beef that they have on their bottom 6 forwards, I'm not too concerned about that. As
You
long
want to
as
be out hit. That means you have the puck.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point, Vinny. You should blog about it on
I remember
pucksandpitchforks.com.
people used to say that about the Blackhawks too, because I live in Chicago and I hear a lot of Chicago media. They're out hitting every game. They're small. They're puny. No, Patrick Kane and Marian Hossa and Patrick Sharp and Jonathan Toews dominate with the puck all night. So they're going to take more hits than they dish. Newsflash: it's illegal to hit someone without the puck.
Yeah. That's a great point. I'm going to bring it up to Scotty. Shh. Don't tell him I got that from Vinny. I stole that line from Vinny.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because if you ever see, like, back in the day when Eric Lindros played, everybody would try to hit him. And he was hard to get off the puck at times in the corners. But he would sustain on one sequence probably about 6 or 7 hits. Most of it from behind. Because it was just so hard to get him off the puck. Or Peter Forsberg, if you remember when he played. That guy, when he was driving to the net, one hand on the stick and the other arm just kind of warding the defenseman off, he would take hits. And it was really strong on his skates, Peter Forsberg back in the day.
Yeah, and I like hits as an individual category. Like, until Tom Wilson came along, Ovechkin always led Washington in hits, and I thought that was amazing because when you don't have the puck, that means you're a power forward. You're able to go out there and do what you can to help get it and finish your checks and make it hard to play against you. But as a team, if the Devils get out hit 20-10, that means they had the puck half the opposition had the puck half as long as the. I mean, that's not always the case. It doesn't always translate that way. If you have a guy that on your team that gets 5-6 hits a game, then you're going to out hit your opponent likely no matter what the puck possession is. But I think in general, the puck possession teams probably absorb more hits than the ones that don't. That's just kind of my feeling on it.
Yeah. We're taking a live look in at American Whiskey, which, by the way, November 12th, Devils versus the Coyotes. We will be on the ground. Vinny, you'll be on assignment that night, unfortunately. Scotty, a SiriusXM Liquid Metal, will be filling in. Hopefully he'll be DJing. I'll be there around 4 p.m. Eastern. Festivities will start around 5. Bruce Driver, good friend of the podcast, and Chico Resch will be hanging out with us at American Whiskey November 12th. Also, Brat Pack will be there as well. That's Brat Pack's night. He chose American Whiskey. We talked about it last summer. He was selling tickets. They are sold out. The Brat Pack is going to be there. We're going to have Jesper Bratt specials at American Whiskey. We'll let you know more of the details this week. But as what RME says, are you ready? I'm fired up for pregame and postgame American Whiskey on November 12th, Saturday night. It's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun, and everybody showing up. It's a great night to, just be a part of the New Jersey Devils community, a positive one. The Brat Pack is awesome. It's a great Twitter follow, and there's a nice group of people that just come together and cheer on, as he would call Lord and Savior Jesper Bratt. I mean, Jesper Bratt's a great player, and I think Bratt going from a pretty good player to a good player to a great player to possibly an elite player has really helped evolutionize the Brat Pack as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Bratt is the 40-point max player that he was when this whole thing kind of started. I feel like it was around the time. Last year was Bratt's breakout year, and this year he's taking it to a whole new level. So shout out to the Brat Pack. I hope everybody has an outstanding time on Saturday, and make sure you show up. There's going to be some great guests and Jesper Bratt related specials. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well. It's kind of a tweet up that we're going to have. I can't wait to see. Oh, my goodness, I think he's going to be there, hopefully. Mrs. Wu is going to make her appearance, but she's always behind the scenes, always making sure that I don't get in trouble, making sure that the podcast is going to be up. But, yeah, American Whiskey, they're working on it. It's going to be a fun time Saturday night, November 12th, and we'll be promoting that as well. All right, Vinny. We got predictions, and I'm going to make a big bet tonight. I'm going to make a bet, but you and I have to go over what's going on for this game. Sorry, the graphic was a little screwed up, but here we go. So we're going to do our betstamp.app predictions, Vinny, because this is what we always do. We talk Devils, we put our money where our mouth is, and you, the fans, can also do the same. And oh my goodness, has confided to me that he has taken some of my financial advice and making some of the risks, jokingly, of course. And suddenly he is doing very well in his betting through the betstamp.app, getting the best odds for the same amount of money. It's like the Trivago of sports betting. What are your picks?
Yeah. So thank you to the BetStamp app. Sorry, I was looking at my picks to make sure I, say it properly. Thank you to the BetStamp app for helping me find the best price for the bet I'm trying to make. And through that, I found on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, the Devils at -144. They're hefty favorites in this game. So you might want to parlay it with another team to make your odds a little bit better. I know there are some great matchups around the NHL tonight. There are plenty of different ways you could parlay it. I really like when I look at the slate of games and I see the Minnesota Wild playing against the Los Angeles Kings. I like the Leafs to beat the Golden Knights tonight. There are a lot of ways to parlay your bets and make them more worth your while. But on its own, Devils beating the Flames stands at -144, and I have them winning the game by a final score of 4-3.
Wow. Vinnie Parise making his picks, picking Devils 4-3 victory over the Calgary Flames, going through the FanDuel Sportsbook at -144. You're going to have to teach me parlay and all that kind of stuff off air because I'm still trying to figure out this sports betting. So, Damon Severson had a bad game. He's in the lineup tonight, right? He has something to prove. My prediction for the Devils is they're going to have a 6-2 victory over the Calgary Flames. But I didn't like how the Devils were heavily favored, is what you were saying. So I'm going to bet through DraftKings that Damon Severson is going to score a goal tonight sometime in the game, plus 500, because I think he has something to prove. And when you're mad and Damon Severson's mad, I have great confidence that he's going to totally redeem himself against the same team that he had a bad game against. So that's what I'm doing. I'm betting through DraftKings Sportsbook, plus 500. Damon Severson will score a goal today as the Devils win 6-2.
I really like that pick. Damon Severson will have lighter matchups being at home. I would assume that Hamilton, Graves, Siegenthaler probably see more of Nazem Kadri and, the top players on Calgary just a bit more than Damon Severson as a result of being at home. Yep. So it's a great pick. He'll be able to play his game a little bit more. That's a really nice pick, Sam. I would have never thought that you were going to come out here and pick Damon Severson to score a goal.
I take my betstamp.app predictions very seriously because on Devils After Dark, we hold each other accountable. Scotty, a SiriusXM Liquid Metal, has been taking all the records, and he always says, you versus Woo, and Sam Woo is 0-9, or I don't know what the record is right now. So I figured, you know what? If I don't get the predictions right, at least I can make money off the side. All thanks to betstamp.app. Because Damon Severson has my betstamp.app of approval. That's how serious I am. And everybody knows that I wanted Nathan Bastian over Damon Severson during the expansion draft.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think of what my record would be. So the Devils are 9-3-0. I believe I'm 9-4-0. I
No, it's
lost the
actually
first.
it's actual like prediction, the actual score, right? Scotty has
Oh,
Scotty has the records. I don't know how he keeps his scoring. He just likes to make fun of me. But I make
got it.
fun of him. I make fun
it
of him
is.
that he's in California and he can't even legally bet.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I I'm trying to think. So that Devils Oilers game, I remember picking the over. It was over 7, which is outrageous.
Yeah.
I've only seen that like 3 or 4 times in my life. That game ended up being 4-3 Devils, so it was a push. So that's like a tie. I would have just gotten my money back with no winnings or
Yeah.
losses. And then the 3 Devils losses, I got those wrong, and the other Devils wins, the 8 Devils wins. So I guess I'm 8-3-1 on my betstamp.app predictions. So you think you're smarter than me? Prove it. So far you haven't been. 8-3-1 on my bets.
Yeah.
Make money with Vinnie Parise.
Yeah. And also, before we go, look at this. American Whiskey, they're all filing out to go to the game, but they're still drinking. I can't wait for November 12th, Saturday night. We'll be there. And I want to thank all those watching, listening to us right now, dropping the podcast in about 20 minutes. We're breaking record numbers, by the way. I send you screenshots all the time, Vinny. You could attest to it. This podcast is in record territory, both downloads, views, comments. It's just amazing. RME actually has a question. Vinny, where's the devil stuff, bro, on the wall? It looks like it's barren. I don't know why you're criticizing Vinny, but do you want to answer him on that?
I have more devil stuff than I would like to admit. I just moved out of my parents' house into my own place within the last 2 months, and I'm still in the process of bringing everything over and all that stuff. I have a devil's towel that I use to shower from time to time. It's in rotation with my normal towels. I like wear a devil shirt every day. I have this devil's hat. I even have a nasty devil's gym hat. My entire life is the devil's. I don't have my background stuff behind me yet because I don't know the true rules of my apartment and whatnot. I'll get that all figured out, though. Eventually, my background will be.
Do you
what it
think
once
she's
was.
watching the podcast with that gentleman?
Yes.
Yeah, they must
She's
be.
wearing
Yeah.
a Yankees hat, though. So she's probably
Yeah.
upset about Aaron Judge being a free agent.
Yeah. And he's going to be a New York Met. No, he's not. I know. Anyway.
He
All
will,
right.
he will wear a team with orange in their colors.
Yes.
That's my prediction.
That's a great prediction.
It will either
Again,
be the Giants or the Mets. Hint, hint.
Supernova says we need to get that Woo Brew tap handle behind him. Sam Woo is going to have his own beer at some point. I don't know. Anyway, we got to go. And, yeah. I think I know that guy in the picture. Anyway.
I have an idea for my background. How's this? My devil's clock.
Oh, yeah. How about that, Vinny?
Maybe I'll get that up in the background a little bit before the next time we go live.
Yeah, I didn't
devil's
realize
clock.
our fan base is just a bunch of picky decorators, right? You know, I just threw something up.
How do you care what I do with my house?
Yeah.
Worry about your own house.
Yeah, worry
Call
about
me
your
on
own
Twitter.
house. Yeah. Want to thank all those watching. Just remember, Devils After Dark, after the game, both here online and American Whiskey. Don't forget about that. Vinny, enjoy the game. Enjoy the game, everybody. Till next time, this is Game Day Live. Let's go, Devils! Woo!